Hey everyone. Well, CERN returns with a new infinity machine. This is something new, I guess, new to us anyway, but it's something they've had for years. Now, if this is your first time to my YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe. You can find a subscribe button in the lower corner, and you'll find lots of videos like this, usually on end times prophecy, science, and you'll also find my show, The Sharpening Report. Also, make sure to go to skywatchtv.com or go to youtube.com/skywatchtv_official and subscribe to them as well. There you'll find my show Into the Multiverse, as well as a lot of other great shows like Sci Friday, Skywatch Women, and the normal Skywatch TV television show. So make sure to check that out. So, fresh news today. It's interesting timing, to say the least. CERN recently decided to release a picture, actually, on its official Instagram of a new precision instrument that they're calling the Infinity Machine. It's a pretty exciting title, but it's not as exciting of a machine as they're I guess, trying to make it out to be with this title. As it turns out, the machine's actually been in operation for several years, yet it would seem, after the recent incident with a small animal, some say it's a weasel or a marten, and on my channel you can find a video that I've done on that, but ever since that animal has taken this, this entire machine down, it seems that the folks at CERN wanted to come back in a big way, so the most excitingly named yet least interesting piece of equipment in the known universe, the Infinity Machine. Now this leaves us to wonder, why are we just now hearing about this development? The machine's been in operation for years, yet now we're seeing it in the headlines. Now, of course, this type of behavior is typical, even expected, of institutions such as CERN. In these types of circles, discoveries are made, processes are implemented, and machines are utilized and built, yet the result of us, the rest of us, hear about it months or even years after the fact. And we've seen this with the Higgs boson discovery of 2012. CERN has admitted that they likely have discovered Higgs bosons maybe in the numbers of 100,000s well before that, yet they wanted to collect all the data and, I guess, run all the statistics and make sure that they had what they had. So we saw it with the Higgs boson, we saw it with LIGO's semi-recent discovery of gravity waves, the detection of which apparently happened 6 months before they released a statement about it. And now we're seeing it with the Infinity Machine, something that's been in use for years now. Now, why this particular machine is given this name, one can only guess. The machine itself is it's an extremely precise measuring tool built to check the sensitivity of components used in high-energy particle experiments throughout the LHC. CERN stated the machine can measure with a precision of 0.3 micrometers, which is around 300 times smaller than the width of a human hair. They made that in a recent quote. A bit more interesting is the fact that this machine was designed specifically to measure components for the proposed Compact Linear Collider, or CLIC. This new collider would collide electrons and positrons instead of colliding protons like the LHC. It would also be a linear collider, whereas the LHC is more circular. Now, positrons are actually the antiparticle of electrons. So by colliding electrons with positrons, physicists hope to unlock new boundaries past the LHC's current capabilities. So giving this machine the name of Infinity, it really speaks to a larger scientific obsession with the concept of infinity. As I mentioned in earlier articles and videos, infinity is a solution that is really never meant to be accepted as viable in science nor mathematics. In fact, infinity is still used as a test to see if a theory or or mathematical solution is even accurate. Basically, if the solution to a problem comes out as infinity, it's rendered meaningless, and a mistake has been made somewhere along the way. But nowadays, the concept of infinity is becoming more and more accepted as a viable solution. It's becoming trendy in science and in physics. In certain religious circles, we've been accused of having a God of the gaps problem. I'm sure you've heard this argument before, but I would say with this infinity thing, certain scientific circles have an infinity of the gaps problem. When they don't have a solution to a problem, infinity did it. It's because infinity. They can't figure out the mechanisms or machinations of the Big Bang, so maybe the universe is infinitely old, as Gravity's Rainbow states. And actually, speaking of Gravity's Rainbow, if you want more information on this concept, you can check out the show I mentioned earlier that I host for Skywatch TV entitled Into the Multiverse. In an upcoming episode entitled Into the Multiverse 013, it's episode 13, Gravity's Rainbow, we tackle the concept of infinity and discuss if it has a role in physical reality as we know it. Basically, Gravity's Rainbow is this theory that states gravity affects different wavelengths of light differently. So basically, colors would be different. If you were to look at a black hole, you wouldn't see white light entering it. You would actually see a rainbow because the gravity is affecting the wavelengths differently. Now, somehow, scientists have concluded that if this theory is true, it somehow means the universe would have to be infinitely old. And again, there's that problem of infinity. That alone should say that the theory, or at least that part of it, isn't acceptable. But nowadays, infinity is becoming more and more accepted. And interestingly enough, speaking of CERN, one way to test this theory, they say, is to see if they can create miniature black holes at a lower energy level than predicted. Right now, they believe they don't have the capabilities to create miniature black holes with the 13 to 14 TeV energy that they have available at the LHC. But if Gravity's Rainbow is correct, then they say their predictions are off and they should be able to create miniature black holes at a lower energy level, say what they have available at the LHC. So that's still in testing. And this goes back to the whole problem of observation versus interpretation. And the reason I bring this up is it's important for us as Christians to know, because we might have to provide an answer for this if we wake up one day and it's all over the news that Gravity's Rainbow or rainbow gravity theory is correct. They've created miniature black holes. Gravity affects different wavelengths of light differently. Thus, the universe is infinitely old, thereby meaning there's no God or no creator or anything like that. So we might have to provide an answer. Now, one option would be to just say, well, the science is all garbage. Just you don't even need to pay attention to it. Just throw it away. But you're going to have more scientifically minded people, especially in our modern age, who might even be considering Christianity or religion, and this might sway their decision. So to just pass it off as nothing, I don't think is the best way to go about it, because in that case, there would be data to prove, as they say, their theory about the universe being infinitely old. But what it really comes down to is the difference between observation and interpretation. They might observe miniature black holes at these lower energy levels. That might happen. Now, their interpretation of that data, their interpretation of that observation is that the universe is infinitely old. We don't have to accept the interpretation. That's just an opinion. That an interpretation is just a meaning that's put on the data or that's put on the observation. For example, Charles Darwin, he made a lot of observations on the Galapagos Island, and he developed the theory of evolution. Evolution is the interpretation of his observations. We don't have to agree with his interpretation, but we can still appreciate the observations. Now, when I look at the observations, certain animals look like other animals. It seems to be this progression kind of. To me, the way I interpret that is there is a creator who has a specific way of creating things. He has his own style. Just like any artist has their own style, you can usually, if you're in the art world, you can tell a painting just by looking at it. You don't even need to look at the signature because every artist has their own style. Same thing with God. He has his own style. Certain animals look like other animals. To me, the way I interpret it is in that way. So we can accept observations without having to accept the interpretation. So if there comes a day that they create these miniature black holes, we can agree with that science if we choose to. We can agree with that data, but we don't have to agree with the interpretation that the universe is infinitely old. So, we can do our own analysis of the data and look into it ourselves and come up with our own interpretations that suits us. But so when this stuff is released, that's all it is. It's an interpretation. It's an opinion based on scientific data. So we don't have to throw all of it away. We can keep the observation and get rid of the interpretation. And actually, since we're on the topic, CERN is also on the trail of a possible new particle, which is pretty exciting. Recent tests at the LHC have shown suspicious bumps in the data, potentially pointing to an undiscovered particle. Now, speculations are flooding the world of theoretical physics in light of this new revelation. Some think it might be a new version of the Higgs boson or a supersymmetric partner of an already known particle. Or even the elusive graviton, which would really be interesting. But in any event, it looks like that we'll have to wait until at least this summer, which is the summer of 2016, in order to find out more. Now, again, if you want more information on all this, subscribe to my channel. I have a ton of videos about this kind of stuff and also about Bible prophecy and end time stuff, interpretation, just a whole bunch of different things, biblically and scientifically oriented. So best of both worlds. Also, make sure to check out Skywatch TV. You can check out my show Into the Multiverse. You can actually find that on Skywatch TV's YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/skywatchtv_official, or you can just go to skywatchtv.com. Also, if you are interested in these types of things, quantum physics, even extra-dimensional UFOs, and how this all relates to the Bible, yet not in a preachy way, because I'm not that kind of person. I actually do have my 2 books right now. Skywatch TV has an offer. My 2 books, which is about a $40 value, Quantum Creation and Cherubim Chariots, on sale for $29.95. It's a great deal. It actually helps me out more if you get it from Skywatch TV. So you can go to skywatchtvstore.com. You can find that. You can find that offer and order it. I present these ideas in a way that I believe anybody can understand. I believe that science, just like the Bible, should be accessible to everybody. A lot of times physicists or scientists, they almost speak a different language. It's real complicated and you almost need a translator. So that's what I'm trying to be. Now I've had people as young as 14 and 15 and people as old as in their 80s write me and tell me they were able to understand these things just fine. So you don't need any kind of background in science to appreciate this stuff or to understand it. It's very much written for the layman because I myself am a layman. So, all right, all that being said, I want to thank you for watching. As always, take care and God bless.